Could I first of all welcome you and acknowledge that the terrible people on whose lands we meet. I don't recognise any elders present, but elders past. I think there's still a couple more people coming, but we'll get underway. I'd also just like to remind us of why we're here today. We're talking about people with intellectual disability and mental illness. So we just need to think about that. I don't know the extent to which there are people in the room that actually understand what it's like to live with mental illness and intellectual disability, but I'm sure some of you do. Someone said to me on Friday, so how many people are we talking about then, Lesley? And I go, very good question. So I got a clear idea of the answer, and it's early and which is you. So my stats said about 1.86% of the population have an intellectual disability, and of those people, about 40% will have a mental illness. So in Queensland, that's really easy to get, isn't it? So the answer is approximately, because you know how many Queenslanders are, because that's where you live. There are 4,676,395. So the answer is to the nearest 10,000. We're smart. I used to be a maths teacher. The answer is 34,000, and I've got my cough, 34,742.38. So about 30,000 people. I was surprised. But if it's true that the population of Queensland is 4.5 million, it must be because I googled it. If it's true, between 1 and 2, 1.86%, because that was an academic article, have an intellectual disability. If it's true, of those people, 40%, give or take, have a mental illness, then the answer is, and I did it on Excel as well as a calculator, over 30,000 people. So that's who we're here for today, over 30,000 people who live in Queensland. So I've been asked in 10 minutes to talk about the challenges and the opportunities for change and influence across all the reforms of health, mental health, disability, aged care and the community sector. And I will do that in 10 minutes. Before I do that, the commission which I drive is a small unit, you won't all know about it, but we've actually really honed in through our advisory council on a vision, and I thought of what we'd like to see in the future. I think it's relevant, because if you just think about the specific group of clients we're talking about, the vision is a healthy and inclusive community where people living with mental illness or problems with substance use have a life with purpose, reason to get up in the morning, access to quality care, focused on wellness and recovery, not access to quality care making me feel comfortable while I actually don't get well, and in a society which is understanding and empathetic and compassionate. And I don't think you need to have a mental illness to have that. It could be any society, but that's where they came to. So the challenges and the opportunities, which is why I'm here in my 10 minutes. Well, the challenges, I think, there's a multitude of people, there's a multitude of issues. We don't actually all, I think, necessarily believe what is right and what's fair and what's not okay. And I think that is the challenge we face here. The other challenge we face is that people working in systems tend not to like to make mistakes. So too often, if you've got a list of stuff this long, you do the things you know how to do and you get over them, so you don't do the really hard things, because you won't get it completely right. Alternatively, if we don't try and do everything, do nothing because it's all too hard, we try and do everything and we just get overwhelmed. And our might do list becomes our must do list. Our must do list becomes our gonna do list. And we never get to what we've actually done because it's still on our gonna do list because we're overwhelmed by our might do list. So that bit of prioritising I don't think actually happens. And the specific challenge for this group, as I don't have to tell you, is they fall between the cracks of the health system, the intellectual and the disability system. And I don't know how many times I've sat in rooms with key decision makers and they go, no, it doesn't quite fit our criteria, and you will know that better than I do. But there is a great opportunity because there's no shortage of things to do. When there's no shortage of things to do, then there are opportunities to do something. And I like to start with, well, what are you going to do? Well, let's find out what's not okay. There must be some things that are not okay we can fix. And two things came to mind. One, because Jodie Cook's here, and I just finished reading her report. But I don't know that it's okay to have 271 people in long-stay healthcare facilities. I'm not sure that it's okay if there are a lot of people with mental illness basically living in a mental health care facility. I doubt that's okay. Maybe it's okay for them to go there to be treated in a room or something and go home, but I'm not sure it's okay to be living in a healthcare facility. And the other thing, because I like numbers, the other thing which I read was that of all the people with intellectual disability, with depression and bipolar, 20% are being treated with antidepressants and 80% with antipsychotics. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I know I'm being told many times that antipsychotics are not what you have for afternoon tea, if you can have something else. If that's still true, it was quoted last year, if it's still true, is it true in Queensland? Well, it's probably not okay that we don't know, well, unless you all know and nobody told me. Probably not okay that we don't know. And if it is true, it's not okay. So there's a whole swag of things which are not okay. So there are many, many opportunities. Pick one thing that's not okay, and we'll try and fix that. Can I thank Jane for organising this? Can I thank National Disability Services, Queensland Disability Network, Queensland Voice and the Queensland Centre for Intellectual Disability Development Disability? I'm really looking forward to this morning, because what I would like to do is actually go home not with a gonna do list, but one thing on my will do list. Come back next year and say, I've done it, is there anything else I could do? Please do not give me, you can have gonna do lists if you want, but I would like a to-do list with at least one thing, maybe two, but you've got to have the one you're going to do and do that. And I have got a spy over there, Tina, who is going to be spying on you, because I said at the end of the morning, I need a gonna do list with one thing on it that I can do and will do this year. Thank you all. Have a lovely morning. Thanks, Jane. Sorry about that.